Hello and welcome to Spiritual Gold, Embracing Trauma. This is just a little disclaimer, just for like medical purposes, therapeutic purposes. This is not therapy. This isn't a medical prescription. This has nothing to do with symptoms that they have in a book. Like I think it's the DS9 book. Like it's not about that. This is an energetic practice, a spiritual practice. It's not to change any of those symptoms that they map, because they map out a symptom and they map out like what's an acceptable way to treat that symptom, and that's the only thing that like that in that world, in that experience of like that's the only thing that's acceptable, and this is outside of that. So it's not curative to those symptoms that they've mapped out. So if you came thinking like, hey, I want my symptoms cured and this is for curing the symptoms, it's not. So if you pay something, you know, and you feel like you like if you got this as a bonus, but you pay something else, or you're expecting that, hey, this was what it was the only thing, it was only to clear these symptoms, and I was going to get these symptoms cleared, and this is what, then you can get your money back. Totally, that's fine. It's not for that purpose. It's a spiritual purpose, and like the symptoms are kind of like there's a spiritual underlying, and the symptoms that come out of it are going to be unique to you. Like what symptoms you might manifest in your body, in your physical reality, is not prescriptive of what's happening spiritually. It's more we're dealing with the spiritual world, and we're going to get increased. We're going to like our worlds can magically change, but it's not like there's this spiritual cause that causes this like symptom. You know, it could be that like there's all these different spiritual causes, and we pay attention to this symptom, and that's how it manifests, to get our attention, be like, oh, I got this symptom again, I got this symptom again, I got this symptom again. But there could be like 20 different spiritual causes that are causing the same symptom because we pay attention, we listen. So there isn't an easy way to say, oh, this spiritual cause creates this symptom. So if they're having certain symptoms that are in that book or something medical, you know, you can have the medical community work with the symptoms and all this stuff. But if you want to, you know, make some massive spiritual progress, then this is the right place to be. It can change your symptoms. It can, it might not. Like I'm saying, they're separate. Don't merge them. Allow them to deal with their symptoms, do their thing, and let you do the spiritual process. And if, I mean, if you want, I mean, this is intense stuff. It's going to create great change, which could, you know, hey, if you're working with a therapist, bring them in. That's fine. It's not posing like, hey, I'm going to be doing a spiritual practice, but I want to deal with what shows up in my life with the therapist, you know, or with the doctor or whichever. So don't feel like it's like it has to be separate. Like if there's certain things you're getting treated for, you feel like, hey, I feel unstable, like let them be there, be their support system. It's not like against them while you do the spiritual work that creates massive change, and then how that gets handled. You got a team to help you out. I mean, whether you got a best friend that helps you through it, a therapist or a doctor, it's all awesome. It's all good. But no, this course isn't to change symptoms. It's not about symptom changing, like we call trauma, but that's like this energetic kind of piece that's locked away from you versus like a therapeutic trauma. So keep them separate. You'll be fine. We also don't want to misrepresent and say like, oh, we can clear all these symptoms. We feel that all spiritual like progress will, you know, symptoms might help to lead to that. And then sometimes when you clear the spiritual, it might clear that symptom, but there's not a one-to-one, and that you have multiple spiritual things that can create all the same symptoms. So there isn't a one-to-one. There isn't like a special like, hey, just do this and you'll have all these symptoms go away. No, we don't believe that. We're not saying that's the case. We do feel that, you know, work in the spiritual world can make your world magical. And you can have a magical world and still have the symptom and still be off the charts happy. So it's not about the symptoms. So we don't change the symptoms. They might, but it's not like there's a one-to-one. So no, we're working in the spiritual realm. That's a disclaimer. We hope that you come on, but if you feel like, hey, I was expecting to have my symptoms go and I thought that's what this was about, we'll happily refund your money, because we're not trying to trick anybody. We do feel the spiritual world is magical to change it all, to whether you get rid of the symptom or change how you feel about the symptom or whatever it might turn out to be. It's the place to be. It's the place to work at. When you can still have all your team that deals with the symptom, you have still have your team in place. We don't need to fight against them. So it's all good. Hopefully with that helps just clear it up. We want to make sure we're clear, and also just know of like the magic of the spiritual realm and what it's for. And it's not, you know, just to clear out a symptom. There's something way, way deeper. So with that, have a blessed day or a blessed night.